Ding dong.
What's a trans woman with a clipboard doing on my porch? Is it election season already?
Hello, neighbor.
Hi. I already mailed in my ballot. I voted for Rob Blagojevich for the 13th time.
Oh, I'm not here to talk politics.
Good. March Madness basketball is on. I can't miss any buzzer beaters. Have a good day, miss.
Wait, what if I told you I'm selling chocolates?
Nah. Now that you mention it, I'm pretty hungry. All these free throws have me famished.
I'm starting to get into women's basketball myself. The web of lesbian relationships between different players has me in a tizzy.
I just met you. I don't need to know what gets you off. Listen, you've already taken up too much of my time. Throw in a free candy bar or I'm slamming the door in your face.
I got a special deal just for you. You can have your first 5 chocolate bars free if you make a podcast episode with me about them.
A podcast? Unless you're Rob Blagojevich, I don't want to be on a stinking podcast.
I just sold some candy to Blagojevich yesterday. He said he'll listen to every episode we make as long as we keep selling him chocolates.
Cancel my cable subscription. The joy I'll receive from knowing that my words will tickle Rob Blagojevich's ears are worth more than 10 years of 3-pointers, bracket busters, and Cinderella stories. To quote Bow Wow Wow, I want candy. It's AP coming at you in March 31st. You know what March 31st is?
Tell me.
It's Trans Visibility Day. And I want to tell you, Marcy, thank you for being visibly trans.
Yeah, I love being visibly trans. Of course, as we all know, visibility is not enough, which is why a lot of people have rebranded it as Trans Day Resistance. So if you're, on the way home right now listening to this podcast, you might want to check to see if there's a Trans Day Resistance action in your town. And attend and help us resist the fascists.
I thought you were going to go different. I thought you were going to be like, visibility is not enough. You got to smell. You got to touch. You got to hear.
No. Listen, you don't need to smell trans people. Trust me on that.
The chasers beware.
Yeah, I mean, we smell better than eggs. We smell better than cis men who are just don't know shit. So yeah, we're not like the smelliest.
She said that directly into my eyes.
We're not the smelliest in the bunch, but still, I wouldn't say that you need to smell us.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and thank you for any of the peeps out there listening. Welcome to Dovewhether. I wanna like open up the kimono a little bit here.
Oh, really? We're starting with kimonos.
Yes, and I wanna say this before every single recording. I have a little chocolate.
Oh, really? Every single time? Is this because I have Reese's peanut butter cups in my apartment?
I go directly. I put my whole hand on Marcy's face, push her out of the way, walk directly to the kitchen and grab chocolate. Some people need to drink or smoke or they need a dick pill to perform. This fellow just needs some chocolate.
Yeah. Well, you think the peanut butter helps too because, peanut butter has protein. So I have a lot of peanut butter food in my diet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So why am I bringing up chocolates? Well, today I want to talk about chocolates and the one specific type of chocolate that is roasted, grinded, melted, and poured into bars right here in Chicago.
We're gonna eat it, so that's what I'm looking.
Yeah, this is a food episode, and you might ask yourself, why is an art and media podcast talking about food? Is food art?
Yes, people say yes. I wouldn't immediately. I mean, the thing is, food can be nice to look at. You have the cooking competition shows where they grade it partially on aesthetics, but is food art? But the thing is that websites that cover art also cover food and fashion and stuff. So, it's not out of the ordinary for that to be within the scope.
It's cultural, right?
Yeah.
I mean, art fits in the sphere of culture, and like food also fits into the sphere of culture.
I kind of feel like something can't be art unless you hear a lot of arguments about whether it is art. So you hear all kinds of arguments from cinephiles who are like, oh, TV isn't art, only movies is. And I haven't heard enough of those arguments about food, so I can't call it art yet.
The way I drink a lemon drop martini at 11 p.m. on a Friday is artful. I just want to say that. Up top.
Is the way that you vomit in the toilet also art?
That's more media.
Uh-huh.
So, this chocolate is, you can see it, people often selling it at like street lights, churches, schools, or in the L. Because that's right, today we are talking about world's finest chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I had never heard of before you introduced me to.
Which is how you know she's a transplant. She was not born here. That's why she lives in a neighborhood that I won't say, but is very Trenton.
Yeah, they didn't have it in Champaign, I guess. You know, we had Girl Scout cookies, and then Boy Scouts we sold popcorn. So
popcorn's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have zero experience with this.
Zero.
Zero.
Although it would be pretty funny if like I taste it, I'm like, oh wait, I have had this before. Yeah, you know, you don't really know until you have your tongue on it.
You go ratatouille, you like have one bite and then you get transported into the past.
Yeah.
When you were in Little League.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna happen. I think I'm gonna be transported back to selling those popcorn.
Okay. So like I do have a little bit of a background with it. I've been eating these chocolates I guess my whole life. I don't really know a time in my life where I haven't had it. It's not like if I'm fiending for it, you know. I'm not scratching myself at 1 a.m. after drinking 3 lemon drop martinis being like, where is that world's finest chocolate?
Yeah, that'd be a funny addiction to have, where it's like there's these very specific chocolates that I need for my well-being. You know, Reese's peanut butter cups at Marcy's apartment, those aren't going to do. I need world's finest chocolate.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to have more of these around here. So let's review our first one. I am handing Marcy the first chocolate bar that we are gonna try, and this is the wafer flavor.
Wafer flavor, chocolate is good. That's my first opinion. Yeah, so it's hard to like, because part of me is looking forward to like ranking all of these, but since this is my first one, I'm like, this is a good base. You know, the wafer definitely reminds me of like cookies that like my parents might get from Aldi or something like that. You know, like you got chocolate on the outside, wafer on the inside. Now I'm just like looking into it and looking into its contours and asking, are you art?
It's honestly a little bland. There's no frills here. Mm-hmm. Zero frills. Zero thrills either. It's just it's a little bit of just like, yeah, it's a little chocolate with a little bit of a crunch in it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't like recommend this to anyone, but I feel like a lot of food with chocolate in them that's this size, you're just like, as long as it tastes good and it makes me feel a little bit less hungry, that's all I need.
I would say this art-wise, I don't know. Like I would not call this artistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you know, I saw a trailer earlier today and I was like, no, that's art. It's that new movie with Kit Harington and Kat Dennings. Have you seen it? No. The trailer? It's called Gimme a Break. Kit Kat.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm podcasting with my dad right now. This is the sequel podcast to My Dad Wrote a Porno. This is My Dad Wrote a Bad Joke.
Well, get ready, because if that's bad, then we are going to hit new levels below the equator.
Oof. All right, so this chocolate it's used to fundraise. That's kind of the thing. Even on the wrapper, it says "We fund communities." It's used by churches and schools, just folks to sell them. It's a way to get some cash and give people chocolates. I did a little bit of fundraising with these chocolates when I was a kid in school here in Chicago. I talked to my parents just to make sure that I wasn't like hallucinating this. And no, they confirmed to me that I did it for some school program or like an attempt to go to like a summer camp too. I never went to a summer camp, so I was not a good.
Was it like you got to go to the summer camp if you sold enough chocolates or something?
Yeah, something like it's more like in a collective sense. They didn't give me any details other than like it was for like a summer camp. Okay. But I was like a trash salesman or like sales kid.
Yeah, I
was a trash.
Did you go like door to door? I also remember like the parents who really excelled at selling Girl Scout cookies and Boy Scout popcorn were the ones who like brought it to work and then sold it to their coworkers.
No. I don't. It might have been the situation where I was given a handful and then I just sold it to other students.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't mean to sound like I trafficked coffee in the south side of Chicago, but maybe I did. Uh-huh. So now that we have a little bit of that world's finest chocolate in us, let me give you some details on the company. Maybe you're too sexy to know the background of this chocolate company. So this was founded by Edmund and Arnold Oppler, two brothers that started in the NYC chocolate scene back in the early 20th century. And Edward started working at 13 years old, so a little
child labor.
So yeah, he was real young, doing some work, and yeah, as you said, child labor. And it was not a good time for labor, adult labor, regular labor. But this was way back when, in the early 20th century. Like, he started working at 13, and at 13, he would have heard about the outcome of the fight of the century with Jack Johnson. So we're talking about way the fuck back when. If we fast forward to 1938, Edmund had been working in chocolate for 30 years.
Impressive.
Like, this man was working.
Uh-huh.
But he was tired of working for others. He didn't want the chocolate master. He wanted to be the chocolate worker. And he started a company called Cook Chocolate Co. I'm only going to go so far in this background. Like, this isn't a hagiography of some man.
Yeah, we're not trying to make this person seem like, oh, we love this guy because he created this chocolate and was the best CEO ever.
No hagiographies here. Kill your darlings. And this is also not a definitive history. I couldn't find a definitive history. Like, I would have read a book for this, but there doesn't seem to be one.
Sounds like maybe you should be the one who writes the book.
I don't know.
Actually, the second thought, maybe not you.
Okay. She knows me too. She's not just ribbing me. She just knows I don't like writing. A couple of years later, in 1949, he actually goes on to start the world's finest chocolate division. But in 1972, the organization actually changed its name to World's Finest Chocolate. That's kind of where it was like, bam, this is the best we got. This is the best we're gonna do. That fundraising division, it started as fundraising concept, and it was doing very well, very, very well. I actually saw some comments on Reddit about like boomers reminiscing about this time, about like them like selling these chocolates too.
Uh-huh. Boomers love to reminisce about anything. I mean, honestly, everyone on the internet loves to reminisce about anything. Like, you'll see people commenting under a video of people line dancing to Wobble about how, oh yeah, this is the way you should be dancing to it. Kids these days, they throw all these ninja moves in.
You're just karate chopping as you're like moving left and right. Okay,
yeah.
Not me though. You'll never catch me being just nostalgic in the internet.
Yeah, we got the anti-nostalgia king on this podcast,
which is like. That's our dynamic, though. You're the nostalgia queen. I'm the anti-nostalgia king. Balance.
Yeah, well, I think people who look at my rankings of the Survivor seasons might think I'm not a nostalgia queen, but go off.
Mike White. Edmund always kind of considered himself a little bit of a bleeding heart for like his community and like his industry. He won this industry award called the Kettle Award.
Interesting.
Look, I don't know if there is like podcast industry awards, but I hope they're not named something as silly as the Kettle Award.
Yeah, what's the context of kettle here?
It's like a candy thing, like a kettle for like to melt chocolate or like candy sugar.
Yeah. Well, thinking about all the children that people melt when they make podcasts, and what if they named the awards after that?
The Roadcaster Award.
I do find it funny that they had to call this world's finest chocolate, and then they're like, but wait a minute, this candy doesn't sell itself.
True. The website that has this award, it says it symbolizes excellence in confectionery manufacturing and operations. Incredible, like so sexy.
So
would you
we don't care about how it actually tastes. We just want to have the most efficient workers being made to do labor ever.
If you were at a bar and someone just casually dropped, I won the Kettle Award, would that work on you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, we're different. I think we're different. And Edmund he really thought about the operations of it all. And he actually went on to buy a farm in the Caribbean country of Saint Lucia, where like tens of thousands of pounds of cocoa beans grow. So he's thinking about all of it. He's thinking about the growth, the melting, the nibs, the chocolate nibs.
He's got all the angles figured out.
He's a 365 man.
Yeah, he would have partied hard with Charlie if they shared a lifespan.
I think they did.
Yeah,
because Charlie's timeless.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that would work better with Gaga, especially with like the new album Mayhem, which is incredible. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I like it, yeah. I actually hadn't ever listened to a Gaga album in full until it came out, and now I've listened to all of the Gaga albums in full.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's been interesting to see. My sister didn't love the album, and then I listened to it, and I'm like, you know what? I think I like this more than my sister, and she's a bigger Gaga fan than I am, so that's a fun little twist.
Okay, all right. Maybe you're the anti-nostalgia.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, oh, is this song derivative of another song? I don't care. It's still fun. Even the Bruno Mars song is starting to grow.
Way you grew suspenders and a hipster mustache. Yes, you said that.
Yeah. Well, then it magically poofed away because that's the trans woman's superpower.
The way you went Mumford and Sons, just to say that sentence. I mean, I liked it. I have not had the chance to dance to it though. So this summer, Pride.
Yeah.
Catch me out, Pride.
We definitely will have to dance to Abracadabra.
I really do. It was a good single. Abracadabra.
Yes. It's one of my favorite Lady Gaga songs. I feel like it's like a Lady Gaga song that I can claim as mine. Because the thing is that when the last album came out, 2020, Chromatica, that was before I came out as trans. So this is the first Lady Gaga album that's come out since I came out.
And like in the canon of like songs named Abracadabra, I think it's up top. Like Lady Gaga's up top with Abracadabra. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and say it's the Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra. Okay. And then at the and like 1,000 places down, it's the Eminem Abracadabra.
I haven't heard it, but I don't feel like I need to hear it.
Don't. Do not.
Is that like a newer song by him, or is that like an older one?
Came out last year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Any Eminem song from last year is not worth listening to.
The Chicago Tribune wrote this total suck job about the company back in the 80s. In it, 90-year-old Edmund notes that his success how successful the company is, and it was. When this came out, like the company had made $80 million in annual sales the year before. So like he's pumping. They're pumping it up there. He was primarily producing these like small chocolate bars for like church groups, athletic teams. Fundraising was still going, and at that point he was selling them for $1. So like when I was selling them, I was also selling them for $1. Like $1 is like this candy bar is the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, of candy bars. It's always been $1. And so the way that it would work is the organization would keep 50 cents, and the group that would sell it would keep 50 cents effectively. That's what he was saying. I mean that's a good chunk of change, 50 cents.
Yeah. If you sell 2 candy bars, you get $1. So that'll start racking up quick, and then you'll get $100. And that was, if you're a kid, that's a big deal.
That's what matters, right?
Buy all those Nintendo 64 games.
I don't know if in the 80s you could buy anything with 50 cents. Maybe a soda pop?
Maybe.
I sell candy for my soda pop habit.
Yeah, exactly. Can't just get the soda pop directly. Have to like buy the candy and then use it to get the soda.
No, the whole company is running deep in the fundraising game. This is where me and a lot of other people have interacted with the Chocolat bar. I mean, gotta fundraise trips and stuff. So let's actually test another one. Let's see what's going on here. What about this one?
We got almond here. Almond, okay, not always my favorite, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, I would say already I haven't even tasted it yet, and it's already finer. But I'm gonna change that. Yeah, it's definitely better than the other one.
It is better.
Yeah, like it takes more to chew on it. The wafer feels less substantive than this one.
It's not chalky. It's chocolatey. It has a little bit of a crunch to it, which I think the wafer can't because of physics or whatever. And I think the almonds are better. Yeah.
Yeah, this one I could recommend to someone.
Would you recommend this to like a good friend or just like a random person, like someone you don't care about? A stranger at a bar that said, "Hey, I got a kettle award." You're gonna be like, you should definitely try this candy.
I mean, I feel like there are fewer situations where I'd be talking to a stranger and want to recommend them a piece of candy. But yeah, I would recommend it to a good friend.
Would you buy this at a fundraiser or for a fundraiser?
It depends on what the fundraiser is for. If I'm at a socialist fundraiser, if we're fundraising for abortion, yeah, I'll buy it.
Okay, yeah. We're selling world's finest chocolates for abortion. So, I mean, that just means that you don't care about the chocolate per se.
Well, I think if it's a case of a fundraiser, I almost always think about what I'm fundraising for before I think about what I'm buying. So yeah, I think that, if there are some kids who are selling this, I might be like, oh yeah, well, I'm a little bit hungry now, and I wouldn't mind buying this, and if it tastes good, yay.
I just imagine you being like, some kids like are trying to sell this candy, and you're like, what's it for? What do you mean a new baseball equipment? I don't care about baseball. Bye.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I don't really get people knocking on my doors like selling stuff.
I like fundraising too because, I mean, like, of course, I'm a very community-minded person. But honestly, I kind of hate this shit. So, like, World's Finest Chocolate isn't a charity. Okay? It's not like the World Central Kitchen giving people food in imperial, ravaged areas of the world like Gaza. Like, it's not. It's not. World's Finest Chocolate is a for-profit fundraising or a company. They make money by selling you an idea and secondarily the material, the chocolates. So I want to talk about this article from 2015 in the Tribune about World's Finest. In it, they make it clear about selling this idea. They note that 94% of schools relied on fundraisers to supplement money from districts, state, and federal sources because this country hates schooling.
Yeah. Now more than ever.
Oh, yeah. Hates that people are being taught to read arithmetic, the history of the United States, and being close to people with melanin or the working class or queer folk.
Mm.
And by people, I mean the current dorks in power.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's right, Marcy. This episode is actually about public education.
Whoa. Wow. Plot twist.
And public education is art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't find, well, you might be able to find educational programming on Netflix, but yeah, you can't find, you're not going to plop down your kids in front of a documentary and just say, okay, here is World War II.
Yeah, it's just, I have a lot of respect for teachers. I have a lot of friends that are teachers. I love, okay, it's not a competition.
A friend who's a teacher called me right before the podcast started. But yeah, definitely not a competition.
A friend of mine who's a teacher is inviting me to the White Sox game opener for the season on Thursday. What's up? You want to play this?
No, I don't. I never said it.
I would say to you.
I was agreeing with you that it's not a competition.
Look, decades, and I mean decades of austerity and defunding by local, state, federal officials have gutted the public education. And that shit was already, that funding for public education was already flimsy.
Yeah.
If you don't know, most funding for schools comes from property taxes. So there's a little bit of a nasty trick that people can play here. Let's say you're an asshole and you hate groups of people. Like let's say Latinos. Yeah, we're both Latinos, so we both have lived through this, right? And like let's say an asshole wants us to fail. So how you want to start from the very beginning of that life? But you can't be hateful out publicly, at least not until 2025. For the last couple of decades, you needed to be a little trickier. So you eliminate property value in Latino neighborhoods, and therefore you lower property tax, reducing local funding and misreading Latinos from the start, and they continue to be less prepared and more shattered than the capitalist hoarding areas.
Yeah, but of course they always have money for the police.
Always. Don't forget to tip your sheriff. By the mere existence of there is a lack of funding can provide this middleman figure to come in and say, hey, I can give you a path to raising some money.
Right. It's like a way to make it seem like there's a path outwards. There's still a path to the American dream, while in reality, like the system is set up so that people can't get the education they need.
You can hustle. Mm-hmm. It all goes back to hustle culture.
Yeah.
And in 2015, in the article that I mentioned, the Tribune makes note that the for-profit fundraising industry made $3.3 billion in annual sales.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It's more than I got.
Yeah.
By like 1 or 2 billion.
Uh-huh.
Some of it goes to school, though. Admittedly, they mentioned that 1.4 billion went to the schools. So I mean, I guess that's nice, right? 1.4. If somebody's giving out 1.4 bill, like they call me.
I mean, think about how many eggs that would buy. And speaking of which, Trump promised that if he was elected, the price of eggs will go down. But all I ever see when I turn on the news is airheads.
What?
Hey, we're both laughing. Must be a good joke.
Yeah, you're right. yeah. In 2015, like I guess that's a lot of money. Sure, whatever. But in that same article, there's a notation that World's Finest at that year had 250 salespeople. That's a lot.
Yeah, like 50 per state on average.
I actually did not even think about it. Like yeah, it would be a lot. It would not be 50 per state.
Yeah, they probably like put a lot of them in a few states.
Yeah, like it's clearly because they are trying to get. It's not just like, hey, we got like a couple of dozen people making the chocolates. We got to make our whole business runs on getting organizations here.
I think I was off by 10. I think maybe, yeah. The current state of Marcy cannot do math.
Yeah, Marcy. Marcy's one of those airheads. Are feeling happy and just
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, then clap those motherfucking hands.
Clap them. Oh, I make that shit clap. Look, if you're having a good time and you don't want to you want to change that, get on your little machine and go to https / google.com.
This is already too much. My brain would explode just from that much.
And search World's Finest Chocolate. And then click at like the 8th page or somewhere else ungodly.
Yeah, we're making people like go through 8 different clicks just for this one bit.
And in it, you'll start seeing these school bulletins pop up for these fundraisers. And it's actually so fucking grim. It's so grim. I read through like a lot. of these promotionals. And they're like systematized in a way. I mean, clearly, when you have 250 salespeople, you want to give, one of the things that they do is provide like systematized materials for the end consumer, which is, let's say you call up a sales rep. They give you these materials and some coaching, and they push the minimum order size of chocolate bar boxes. Do you want to guess how the minimum order?
So like minimum order to like one person who's selling them, or to one person who's buying them.
So if you're buying them, you can't just buy one box.
Yeah.
There's a certain.
And how many bars are in a box?
There's a. Does my name, after my name, does it say World's Finest Sales Rep? Sales Associate?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
I looked at your LinkedIn today, and that's exactly what it says. But yeah, okay. I'm just gonna guess 10 boxes.
10 boxes. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. It's actually 8.
8. That makes sense.
8.
Yeah.
Which, if I do a little bit of math in my head, something Marcy can't. That's like 480.
Okay, that's a lot of bars.
It's a lot of cash.
Oh yeah, cash. That's cash. Gold bars. Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
So
like, yeah, these sales reps, they do this. They get a 480, and they just sit back. Because the company has to sell the idea of a fundraiser to people. That's it.
Like, what's the difference between this and an MLM?
Good question.
Yeah.
What is it?
The main difference is I feel like in MLM, you kind of need to find someone in order to sell them. And this one, you're just trying to find someone to buy them at a certain point. Like one person buys the chocolate and then, if it's a school, then maybe the kids will all sell it. But if it was an MLM, it would keep going. But the pyramid is like smaller for this.
Okay. Well, if you give me $60, I can get you some more chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
You can make some money too.
Yeah. There you go.
Think about that?
Uh-huh.
What you think about that? Huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty tantalizing offer.
Okay. There is. I mean, I'll get into it more, but there is a difference in between an MLM and this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Avon where you could possibly just buy like some makeup or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a catalog of things. It really is just chocolates.
Yeah.
And because of that simplicity, like there's a messaging to like principal, coaches, religious leaders, anyone that's generally downtrodden. If you buy these, you could make some money. You could fundraise. That's their end customer. Their end customer is the people, that are having a difficult time with due to budgeting reasons. Not personal budgeting reasons, but institutional budgeting reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They have some programs to help you like not spend $480 per purchase, but like, I mean, they're just in my belief they're just nominal. They couldn't possibly be most people are in this program because Rose Finance is not selling directly to customers like you and I. The sales burden is transferred to their kids and their parents.
Mm.
The sign-up forms I read make it abundantly clear. They have lines like, you are able to prepay for boxes as well as increments of $60.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like it'd be a little bit overwhelming. Do you think these principals were like, okay, all of you kids have to sell this if you want books for fall semester?
And we might capitulate to the right wing and ban those books, but you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just get out there and sell.
Yeah. It's like
my principal is Alec Baldwin.
You already have to work for a living wage, and now you have to work some more just to get a little bit of education.
Just the tiniest amount.
Uh-huh.
What I mean, a lot of this shit blows. I mean, but what actually fucking blows is that they brag about helping these institutions. At one point, the World's Finance representative bragged about helping CPS schools raise $320,000 in 2014. We both are here in Chicago. We both have like a deep appreciation for CPS and CTU. So I just wanna pick your brain here. What do you think was the operating budget for CPS in 2014?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? I'm just gonna say $1 million.
Nice. So let's find this chocolate. $320,000 out of a $1 million. Right on. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these people are great. The operating budget is $3.45 billion. Billion.
Yeah. Yeah. So that 320,000 is a very small percentage.
Yeah, you can piss into the ocean and make a bigger splash.
Uh-huh.
These fundraisers these schools have, they're kind of like billed as competitions too. They have levels of prizes that you could win for like the boxes you sell.
You got some prizes for me?
Yeah. I can tell you they're all crap.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go to an arcade and it's all the prizes behind the counter.
Actually worse.
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 Yeah, well, that's partially because some of those prizes they make you play so much games for them that they're like, well, we gotta make them something they actually want to have.
Yeah. You can definitely get 1,000. Like, you could get whatever plushie you get at a claw machine better than a lot of these prices that I saw listed. Like, one of them is like a Dollar Tree level Bluetooth speaker. Like, it just looked like trash. Or like, even worse, sometimes the prices are just like, hey, you don't have to use your uniform one day.
What?
Like, you could just dress however you want, like in your like civilian clothes or whatever.
So basically, the people in charge of these schools would make these awards just be something that makes your life a little bit less degrading.
Yeah. It's like, hey, the prize is being less carceral.
Yeah, if you sell this many candy bars, you get 10% less capitalism.
Oh, okay. Whoa. I'll take that. I'll take that
for one day.
Okay, actually, for one day, I'll take that respite. The grossest one I saw though is that you can, if you sell a certain amount of boxes, you could win an Echo Dot.
Well,
if you were to just guess how many boxes,
I'm guessing that's a lot of boxes.
You don't gotta hit me with the 1 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 100.
100? Okay, so honestly, 100 is a nice round number. You actually have to sell 20.
Oh, 20. Okay.
20 of these boxes. That kind of equals to about $1,200.
True.
That's a lot of money. You bust your ass selling 20 boxes of chocolate for the joy of being spied on by Amazon. I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like in a lot of cases. I mean, I think anyone who sold them, I understand why. And I fully blame like the people in charge for this, but it definitely feels a little bit like it's so indirect of like, okay, you got to sell all these and then you'll get these things and maybe those will help you. But no, we can't fund school directly. That'd be too easy.
It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy. It would be so easy.
Like, I'm thinking about once we have socialism, we just won't have the need for a lot of this stuff anymore. And it's like, oh, you want chocolate? Well, under communism, that's provided for you. You get chocolate and your education. You don't even have to sell anything for it.
Sign up for socialism near you. Get your socialism at your box office. That is a scam. Like $1,200 for an Echo Dot. Yuck. The thing is that it's not these kids selling them.
Yeah.
Because they can't, they're dumbass kids. Like, what are they gonna do? They don't know economics. They don't know what an elevator pitch is.
Yeah, they know exactly as much as these airheads. Am I right?
She held a mirror to me when she said that. I don't know what that means. But, it's the parents. It's the parents that put in the labor.
That's how it usually is.
And the school bulletins don't even hide it. One said, "Attention parents, your support can help us to raise needed funds."
Yeah, but not your parents. Like, they're like, you have to do it, sell it to all your classmates. We're not going to help you at all.
Yeah. Down with my parents. What do you mean I have a bedtime? What do you mean I can't smoke a blunt at 13? What do you mean? Look. Like, the fundraising isn't done post hoc. It's done the moment that the parents drop $60 to get the chocolate. That's really that's how the funds are being raised.
Yeah.
So parents pay property taxes, feed, clothe, transport, and buy the boxes. All to have to put in the labor to recoup $60. I mean, they're being bled.
Yeah. Does that mean we should appreciate our parents more?
Yeah, this is a pro boomer episode. Yeah, those boomers that those boomer comments I read on Reddit, those were your parents. The easiest people to sell these chocolates to is friends, family, coworkers. But multiple of these school promotions advise against something that you brought up.
Bringing it to work and selling it to your coworkers.
Door to door.
Oh, door to door. Yeah.
Do you want to know why? Can you guess why?
Does it have to do with like stranger danger?
That would be nice, right? That would be nice. Like, yeah, you think about the safety of children. Ain't no motherfucker thinking about the safety of children in the United States. What's up, these two motherfuckers?
Yeah.
On mic.
Does it have to do? You know what? Just tell me.
Okay. So, you told me people come to your door to try to like hawk their goods, their wares.
Yeah.
But you don't always buy, right?
Yeah.
It's also annoying.
Yeah. People love to put no solicitor signs on their apartment.
People love putting no solicitor signs right next to their no loitering signs.
Yeah.
And as I'm like sitting there smoking my blunt, I'm like, yeah, that sign really tells me what's up.
Yeah. It's, we call the police. They got the camera, doorbell, everything.
So socially anxious that like I see a camera bell and like the sign no soliciting, and I'm like, oh shucks, no. Yeah. It's because it's annoying. It's annoying and it devalues the brand. If your if your brand is known to be like, hey, you're the people selling those chocolates. No, I don't want to buy those chocolates, and I hate that company. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's also like one of the reasons that this isn't an MLM.
Okay.
MLMs are annoying.
True.
Very annoying.
Yeah. So this is like the one company that's like, you know what? Let's not be cringe.
Yeah, the singular company.
They figured it out.
And it's also because these rappers usually have advertising on them. The ones that we have here don't. It is very common to see some like Pizza Hut coupons in the back of them.
Is it like if you rip the candy bar the wrong way, you'll accidentally rip the coupon in half?
I would love that to be the case. Like you walk into like Pizza Hut and they're like, nah, sorry, bro. It's ripped incorrectly. You keep your fucking money. I could just tell it. I could tell you what Edmund said. He said, a shopper buys a chocolate bar for $1 and uses the wrapper to get $1 off a grocery store if he spends at least $25 at the store.
So we're all winning here.
Are we?
Yeah, we're gonna. You spend $1 and then you get $1 off, and it's like, damn, I got two things and I didn't spend any money at all.
I love the idea of like we fund communities. We care about the community. So why don't you do our sales job for us, and also make sure you go to the business that we are connected with to make sure that they know that they should continue to advertise in our candy. Yeah.
Yeah. The candy, it's the world's finest, but we need all these other extra steps in order to sell it.
World's finest.
Yeah.
World's finest.
It'd be funny if like the chocolate actually was really good, and it was like, wow, this actually is the world's finest, but the company is just like made this so complicated. They could have made so much money if they did just had like sold these normally. Yeah, it makes me excited for the third bar.
I think the third bar is coming.
It's coming.
Oh, she coming.
Yeah. The anticipation is going to make it all the tastier. One
of the things I want to note here is that I read a lot through these. Like I spent a sober night, just clicking around looking at these flyers. And then eventually one of these bulletins I saw come from Parkland, Florida.
Okay.
This elementary school is only about 4 miles away from Stoneman Douglas High School, where the mass shooting that killed 17 kids happened.
Yeah. I halfway through pretty much every Dovewhether episode, you bring up a mass shooting. So at this point, I'm ready for it.
A lot of them happen.
Yep.
Too many. One is too many. The fact that there's one every week is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting this. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, especially, they had the mass shooting at Pit Fest. We gotta deal with another one.
Yeah. Putting a prayer up for Jake.
Yep.
I mean, I was a little sad reading when I realized that it's just hard to see that like conservatives and liberals have all failed all the kids and the families of this country.
Yeah. There's like so much rhetoric about guns, and then feels like nothing ever really happens. So, as with a lot of things in this country.
But you could maybe sell some chocolates to, I don't know, maybe pay for another security guard that isn't gonna do shit.
True. Yeah, that'd be terrible. It's like, okay, kids, you have to sell these chocolate, and maybe if you sell enough, there'll be another guy with a gun at the school.
Oh, I see you're a salesperson. Let's try another one.
Yay. Okay, this one is milk chocolate. I'm a fan of milk chocolate, so I'm looking forward to this.
Rip that open and throat it. Is this like the platonic mean of a chocolate bar?
Maybe.
Like there's not like what you kind of get what you think you're gonna get. The wafer has no frills, but maybe like the reverse is the milk chocolate bar is so down the middle.
Yeah, I think I might like the almond one better just because at least the almond has like some distinctiveness to it.
What's your power ranking right now?
Almond number 1, milk chocolate number 2, wafer number 3.
Okay. Well, actually, I would say almond is top for me.
Yeah.
I like the crunchiness, and then milk, and then
so we have the same list. So
the way the World's Finest describes this is delight business associates, customers, friends, and family with our delicious milk bars.
Got to make sure all the stakeholders are happy.
Like this is a very small note in this, but like. In all my research, there is no snappy description for any of these bars. Like, bro, get a copywriter. I know there's English majors out there that would do it.
Yeah, I mean, this candy is really generic. And I think that we have some authority on this because they decided to make a candy based on Dovewhether. What's it called? Nerds.
Okay, Grandpa, I think it's time for bed. I am very much not a nerd. How dare you?
Oh, really? You're someone who does a lot of research and wants to be right about things, but you're not a nerd.
That is hot guy activity.
Chat activity.
Yeah.
To like spend a night just like looking up stuff about chocolates.
Oh, you say that as if like there aren't burly hot men doing that right now.
Well,
on Trans Visibility Day.
Yeah. Well, there's also hot women, just being nerds at the same time. So yeah, I guess everything's kind of melded together at this point.
Chocolatey melted. Some of these flyers are also like no returns. If they're melted, no returns. Not there. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Once this left the factory, it's not theirs anymore.
Once they left the factory, you have anyone in a 10-meter radius has to pay $60 or else.
Yeah, you will be arrested if you do not sell this chocolate or eat it. Those are your only options.
Unless in jail you can sell like 5 boxes, then you get to not wear the prison jumpsuit. You get to wear your own clothes for 1 day.
Instead of using cigarettes as currency, like chocolate is all we have left at this point, because the prison system is like, oh, we have to be equally or worse than the public school system. And yeah, let's fund more prisons but make things worse for the prisoners.
Getting my ass beaten because I couldn't pay back the 5 almond world's finest chocolate bars I ate.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that would happen to you for sure.
Look, I don't really give a fuck about world's finest chocolates. Them, along with literally every other company, overplays their accomplishments, or they find a way of being a middleman, or they pat themselves on the back. It's a capitalist system that leads to this trash.
Yeah, world's finest chocolate. They seem they're fun to shake our fist at, but at the end of the day, they're not the real enemies here. The system that upholds all of this is the thing we got to topple. If we overthrow world's finest chocolate, the world's still gonna suck. We're still gonna be living under this shitty white supremacist system. So yeah, it's always good to remember that.
The whole chocolate industry is started and funded and continues to be funded by murder and exploitation. That's it.
You're gonna make me feel guilty when I eat chocolate now. I thought, I've come to peace with the fact that when I eat meat, that I'm leading to the death of more cows. But now you're gonna say that when I eat chocolate, I'm supporting murder too. How can you do this to me?
How can I?
The truth hurts, I guess.
This is love.
Yeah.
This isn't an intervention. I don't want to come here again and see those Reese's peanut butter cups, those murder cups.
Yeah, soon we're gonna find like the one food in America that isn't murdering anyone, and it's just gonna be whatever your favorite food is.
Yeah. Well, the last episode, the faggots and their friends in between revolutions, has that, and that is bust. That's nut. That's a different type of nut.
Yeah.
She does not like this. She does not like this.
Just give me the cold hard facts about how chocolate murders.
Look, I'm actually not gonna get super into like the chocolate industry. I just want to mention one thing here. One thing, and that is a policy level thing. Have you ever heard of the Harkin-Engel protocol?
That's one of those things that my eyes has probably glazed over as I read a Wikipedia page, and then I instantly forget it.
You're like, protocol? No, you. This isn't CSS. No, I'm good. So that protocol is a non-binding, voluntary, public-private. Say with me. Private partnership adopted in September 19th, 2001.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that year. It's like 8 years late. No, it's like a week later. Okay, we got to do this right now.
It's like Beetlejuice. Like, it just pops out.
Yeah.
I was not expecting. I was not expecting it. And this was written by the Chocolate Manufacturers Association in response to an amendment proposed by New York Representative Elliot Engel, who, check this out, was beaten by Jamal Bowman in 2021.
Oh, okay.
Who, check this out, was ousted by AIPAC through some paper organization that dropped stupid money. It was literally the most expensive representative race ever.
Yeah, that was one where it was definitely a very depressing ending.
Same thing with Cori Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Cori Bush, yeah. Jamal Bowman, is a little bit more of a complicated figure on the left, but Cori Bush, perfect. So the fact that she's no longer in power is really bad.
All power to her. I hope to see her rise. This amendment would have just done something very simple. Very simple. It would have given the FDA some money to create a label that says that no child labor was used in the growth or harvesting of cocoa, which is a tall task. So there's a model for this already. In tuna cans, there is like some labels that were created. I'm gonna show you this right now. You see? Can you describe it to the good people?
So we got long lines with a line in the circle around it. So no long lines, no nets. We have a turtle with the word safe under it. We have what looks like either a dolphin or a similar type of creature with safe. And we have non-GMO project verified with a butterfly and a check mark.
So this label would have been based on what's called the dolphin safe label on tuna cans. What I showed you is a tuna can. And it's just a sticker. Yeah. It's just an image. Mm-hmm. And in response to this proposal that passed in the House of Representatives, but before it could go and pass in the Senate, the Chocolate Manufacturer Associations hired former senators to lobby against it. And check this out. It worked.
Wow. The lobbyists win.
Yeah.
I remember like back in like the 2000s, like lobbyists was like the number one enemy. You watched Jon Stewart so that he could like shout about the lobbyists. So yeah, he was right on this one.
Now if you have over 200,000 followers on Twitter, you're just like making policy proposals and being taken seriously. Yeah. That was too much. That proved too much for this country. A sticker proved too much. Tom Harkin, who is the other namesake, senator from Iowa, negotiated this protocol. And then 17 years later, not a single company or government is anywhere near the sector-wide objective to eliminate child labor.
Wow.
In fact, the increase in cocoa production has led to an absolute increase in child labor to 2.1 million children in West Africa alone.
The numbers just keep going up.
Mm-hmm. These numbers come from the Cocoa Barometer report, which is done by Voice, which is a watchdog organization, and like hot guys everywhere just kind of like sit at night reading watchdog reports. So just so you know, if you're out there doing that. Look, that's a little dark, so let's eat some dark chocolate.
Okay. I'm before I eat this, I just want to say that this joke is not my own, but I want to share it, and then I'll share one of my own after I eat it. But I feel like it's just so appropriate right now that I have to share this joke from Reader's Digest. How do you turn white chocolate into dark chocolate? Turn off the lights. That's the level that Reader's Digest is working at. They're
Grandpa Joe is gonna be here all week.
Well, no, but that wasn't even my joke. That was Reader's Digest.
Yeah,
I shared it because it's so silly. I'm the one pointing at Reader's Digest and saying that's Grandpa.
So we live in a dichotomy here where like hot guys are sitting in their room reading watchdog reports and looking through and doing some research, but like hot women are out here lifting jokes from Reader's Digest. Okay.
I'm not lifting it. I'm literally attributing it. I'm saying this is a dumb joke from Reader's Digest. Let's laugh at how stupid it is. Yeah, this one is not going to convince me that milk
Honestly, this
chocolate's
is a banger. No, you're wrong.
better. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, wafer.
Listen to women except for their opinions on dark chocolate.
I like being in a relationship where I can eat the milk chocolate and my girlfriend can eat dark chocolate. It works out well.
So minimum you buy 2 bars then.
Well, usually I'm going to eat my girlfriend.
So minimum
A
you
heart-shaped
make
box
sure
without
that your girlfriend is complicit in child labor and the slavery of chocolate. Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna make all girls who eat chocolate complicit in murder, then there will be very few girls left.
Child labor and slavery is an actual big problem in the chocolate industry. World's Finest Chocolate, I don't know where they source their chocolate from. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy on a mic looking at a girl on but I can tell you that World's Finest Chocolate seems to be bought by the world's largest chocolate sourcer. Called Berry Kayabo. Kayabo? How would you call this?
All right, we got. Yeah, it's like a combination of 2 different languages as the last name. You could say Berry Kayabo. You could say Berry Kalebaut, and you could like switch back and forth different sounds between both of those pronunciations. So yeah, it's a Rorschach test of a word if I've ever seen one.
It's the largest chocolate sourcer in the world, and I skimmed through. I was not gonna read it. Like I'm hot, but not that hot. That I actually read the entirety of their annual report, and it's fucked up.
Love an annual report.
It's bad. It's bad. The World's Finest seems to be that this company bought them. Seems like it. I couldn't find the confirmation. All I know, because World's Finest is a private company. It's not. It doesn't have to do like other like SEC report that like provides a whole bunch of information. It doesn't have to like fill a 10K, for example. The hot guys at home know what that is.
They know what's up.
So I just want to end it there. World's Finest Chocolate has lived in my life for a long time. And chocolate has lived in everybody's life for a long time. I just find it fucked up that this organization styles itself as funding communities that sells a product that is unfortunately built on the labor of children, the labor of the exploited third world, of people that just want to work. They just want to live a dignified life, but have been thrashed by economic forces and white supremacy from the very beginning.
Yeah, like the levels of oppression that are happening here, and are probably happening in like most U.S. companies, is definitely staggering.
This company that started because Edmund's dad died young, and he at 13 needed to start working in chocolate, and then 100 years later, over 110 years later, when he started, there is still children working in these chocolate plants and industries, and then you have children selling them. You have me selling them.
Yeah.
And all I know is that none of this needs to exist.
Yeah, definitely.
The world existed with chocolate before capital. and it will exist after.
Yeah.
And it's also like quadruply fucked up for me because like chocolate is like something that my people like cultivated. You know, Mexicans, the Aztecs, the Maya, the Mesoamericans.
Mm.
In some fucked up way, I can't even enjoy this history of mine because all capital just thrashes it all into a bucket and says, "Fuck you, pay me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. This makes me think about the type of cartoons that we would watch when we were kids, and oftentimes there would be commercials that we would see, and for Tootsie Roll Pops, they always ask a question: how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Well, I'm here to tell you the answer right now. It's 69, baby!
Sex. There, we have one final bar.
Ooh, the last one.
So this isn't all like... This isn't a 2014 BuzzFeed cracked article-ass podcast episode about how the company you never thought was trash is trash. What this is an exploration of like labor in its simplest form. In this last piece, I want you to tell the folks what it is.
Okay. Ooh. Caramel. Milk chocolate with caramel. I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, caramel. I feel like the thing that can sometimes go wrong with caramel is like if it gets too sticky in your teeth. But this one, it's not too bad, and it tastes good. So yeah, it feels kind of like when you're eating a caramel chocolate candy. Like you're living the good life.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say that the caramel is my favorite one.
Mm-hmm. I think it is too for me.
There is something a little artificial about this. I've made homemade caramel before. Delicious. But this is good.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one. And I would say that my final ranking is caramel, dark, almond, milk, and wafer.
Yeah.
You know what? Not even wafer. Throw that shit out.
Yeah. My final ranking is caramel, almond, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Throw the wafer out. I
say this isn't a 2014 BuzzFeed article podcast because of one thing. These chocolates that we ate today, I didn't get them at the store. I bought them directly from someone selling them, and this immigrant woman selling them in a traffic light. And I sat with her for like 10 minutes talking about this kind of what she does. She just moved here to Chicago in the last year, and she has like a family. She's married. She's got kids. And she told me that she only works Saturdays and Sundays trying to sell them for a little bit of extra money that, well, the kids need. Food, and food is expensive. The cost of living is higher than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And although the husband works Monday through Friday, she has to work too. And she told me that some of the people that she's known since she's been here have just left. She brought up Trump without me like guiding it to that direction. But she just mentioned how like this creature in the White House has just like scared people to leave or to be deported. She also mentioned how CPD kind of forced her to not be a real a street vendor, and she has to buy these chocolate bars at a higher price from someone who buys them in bulk to resell them. So she has to sell them for $2 a bar. It might sound like a sad thing, but at the end of it, she made it clear that all she wanted to do was just work. I asked her, like, does she see like a lot of dignity in work, and she said yeah. And that is the thing that's bringing me hope this week. She was there with her kid, with her daughter, and after I was finished talking to them, I said goodbye to them. I gave the kid a high five, and then this kid, probably 5, 6, 7, something like that, she gave me a hug. It was so sweet.
Aww.
It's just these folks just want to live a normal life.
Yeah.
And there's so many different systems just saying, no, we want to destroy you. And I just don't see how could anybody see these two people, this mom and daughter, and want that. And all I know is that it just provided me with a lot of sense that we have to keep going. We have to advocate for a better world, and I will.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it makes total sense that she would be like, I have to have this side hustle, and I actually enjoy working. But all this other shit is happening, and there's people I know who aren't here anymore because of who the government is. But they're still able to find, that brightness, and I'm glad you had that experience. In 2028, Elon Musk will finally be put on trial for his many crimes against humanity. He will be found guilty by a jury of his peers. The punishment? Guillotine. It will be televised across America. Everyone will remember the sound. That Halloween, one candy bar's sales will go through the roof because it puts a smile on everyone's face. The candy bar in question? Crunch!
She's here, folks. It's she's resisting, and she is visible, folks.
Yeah, that one, I wrote that in my journal. Elon Musk -guillotine -crunch, and then I just had to fill in the gaps.
Well, what's giving you hope?
What's giving me hope is my friends. I think that as we enter April, I'm just really thankful for my friends. I'm really happy that I get to spend so much time with them, whether it be watching Twin Peaks or Survivor, or, writing something with my friends, making a podcast with my friends, reading a queer book and talking about it with them, or, raising funds for abortions with my friends, watching movies, trivia, all sorts of different things. And there are people out there who may be listening who don't have the community they want, but if this weirdo trans girl can find her community, so can you. So can anyone. And, these weirdo airheads in the White House, making their group chats where they accidentally add, the editor from The Atlantic to them and then write about how they're going to bomb Yemen. Yeah, they're idiots, and it makes us all feel even stupider that they're the ones in power right now. But you know what? They're not going to be in power forever. The proletariat will win, and that's what's giving me hope. So yeah,
beautiful. Thank you so much for listening. 2025 is proving to be a dog shit year, but this podcast will go on. Yeah. You can follow us everywhere at Dovewhether.
That's right. Any podcast app you want, you can find us on there. And we're on Instagram. We're on Bluesky. Don't forget to give us 5 stars. Give us a review. Tell your grandma to listen to this, and then she can figure out. Actually, wait, let me redo that. Tell your grandpa to listen to this, and he can figure out whether our jokes are of his caliber or not. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Well, thank you to all the He's out there and all the Hershey's. Bye.
Bye.